You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, presented by the Only One Media Group. This is the people's choice for quality interviews, celebrities, and special guests. Hosted by Demetrius Denny Reynolds. Call in to join the mix at 701-801-9813. For the complete archive of episodes, visit onlyonemediagroup.com and be sure to like us on Facebook at Vigilantes Radio. We welcome all. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host, Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds. Enjoy the show.
At dollarseed.com, all of our seeds are only $1 a pack. And we have online resources that teach you all about the rewarding hobby of growing your own plants, flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Imagine the joy you'll feel when your children actually help you harvest your first garden crop, or the pride of knowing you'll never need a florist again. Visit dollarseed.com and grow a little magic of your own for just $1. Dollarseed.com. What could be healthier?
All right. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another incredible episode of Vigilantes Radio Live, right here on iHeartRadio, and I am your host, Denny. We have another special guest for you guys, so you definitely want to stick around for that. And as a matter of fact, text your buddies, your family members, or even share it on social media right now and let them know that we are about to dive deep into another interview. Before we bring our guest on, I do want to say, if you've already achieved some success today, well, my friend, you have to keep going. Build on that momentum and you'll achieve even more. If you know nothing but frustration and disappointment today, again, I will say keep going. Change your approach based on what you've learned and you'll get yourself where you want to go. Through it all, keep going. The only way to lose is to give up. The only way to win is to persist. It's a clear choice. You can give up now and you can settle for less, or you can continue for as long as it takes to achieve what you set out to achieve. Time will pass no matter what you do. That's a given. Time will keep on going. Your best strategy is to keep on going too. Make use of every moment. When you've exhausted, get some rest. Then get back up and keep on going. You are destined to make things happen. You are here to make a difference. Keep on going. And in the persistence of your efforts, you'll find a level of joy and fulfillment that you've otherwise could not have known. Take that from me, Coach Denny. That is my word, and word is bond.
Have you struggled budgeting your finances? Don't worry, you're not alone. HumbledBudget.com, that's HumbledBudget.com, is the help and resource you've been searching for. HumbledBudget.com is a personal finance and educational website with a great variety of topics when it comes to budgeting, taxes, investing, and the popular topic of FIRE, financial independence, retire early. HumbledBudget.com has a goal, and that's to help you reach your financial dreams, no matter what your goals are when it comes to finances. It doesn't matter where you start, where you come from, or where you are right now. HumbledBudget.com can help. What are you waiting for? Take that first step to the financial life you've dreamed of and go to HumbledBudget.com. That's HumbledBudget. HumbledBudget.com.
All right. Again, welcome to the show. You're listening to VRL. That's the Vigilantes Radio Live right here on iHeartRadio. And I'm your host, Denny. Our interviews are designed to go beyond the music, news, books, art, acting, films, technology, education, entrepreneurship, entertainment, and sometimes even past that thing that we call the ego. Our interviews are designed to go behind the scenes and into the minds of these incredible human beings. The ones who are out there giving it their all for me, for you, and for the world. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Rafi Chowdhury, a talent acquisition expert who has helped countless job seekers land their dream roles. Rafi has a wealth of knowledge to share with us about the job market and how to position yourself for success. And with that, Let's welcome Ralphie to the show. Hello, hello. Welcome.
Demetrius, thank you so much for that awesome introduction. Glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Man, this whole year, actually, since January, we've been exploring like just life lessons, leaving gems here and there for the generations that to follow, right? So, one of the questions that I've noticed, especially with, I don't know, I don't want to get into the generational thing here, but I'm from the school where you would work one job until you die. You know, you kind of stayed in that position. Sometimes you grew, sometimes you didn't. But what advice, man, would you give someone who feels stuck in their current job and is looking for a career change?
Sure. What I would say is that loyalty that you just spoke of, say 10, 20 years ago, just doesn't exist anymore. The internet has leveled the playing field so much, and because skill sets are so easy to acquire, and also because so many jobs are now being done over the internet, that expecting loyalty from a company or showing that loyalty will not necessarily give you that sort of long-term job security that we once, used to have in these kind of roles. So my best advice for someone stuck in that situation is to ask yourself, are you comfortable and are you growing in that role and in that company? If you are, that's great. If you enjoy what you do, there's no need for you to change anything. But if you feel like you're stuck and you're not able to grow, by all means, if you like your company, the best thing to do is to go up the leadership and look for those opportunities to take on the next role, to, learn as much of the business as you possibly can while becoming an expert in your niche. And if your company consistently shows you that they're not willing to give you that opportunity, I do think it would be in most people's best interest today to look for that skill set, to look for that opportunity that's going to allow you to develop those skill sets that you need. Because ultimately, what's going to follow you from company to company is going to be those skill sets that you develop, that you acquire. So if you're not getting that at the company that you're at, you need to be seeking that wherever that you're going to be getting that opportunity from. If you don't, it's not that you're going to stay in place, but it's more like you're going to fall backwards. You're going to start going backwards, whereas everyone else is going forwards.
Man, that is great advice. What inspired you to pursue a career in talent acquisition?
It kind of fell into my lap. So my background is in digital marketing and sales, and also startups to some extent. And I developed some really good friendships over the years through marketing. And one of my marketing buddies just reached out to me and said, hey, I work for this great company called Robert Half. They are a staffing agency, and you're a great marketer, you're a great salesman. I think you would do extremely well in staffing. And he explained talent acquisition to me as basically like sales, except your product is people. At the end of the day, as a staffing company, you're selling people, right? So he said, give it a try, see how you like it. The compensation is going to be very similar to what you were making in the marketing field. And so that's how I landed my first job. I worked at Robert Half through my friend's referral, who was working there as well. And it's been an amazing journey since then.
Absolutely, man. You mentioned that the internet, pretty much leveled the job market field. How would you recommend someone going about conducting a job search in today's market?
So your resume definitely matters a lot. I will first of all put that out there. What the content that you have in your resume, the way that you structure your resume, and how you present yourself definitely makes a huge difference. But just as much as the resume makes a difference, so does the connections and network that you build. I don't know of the statistic off the top of my head, so I can't quote anything, but I can say for sure that a vast majority of positions that are typically filled are usually through a network or a mutual connection. So someone's looking to hire someone on their team. Maybe they know someone who might think of someone that might be a good fit, or it could be someone on their immediate team, or it's a friend that referred, or a former colleague that refers a candidate to that position. So So the two pieces of advice that I would give is A, make sure that you work with a professional resume writer / recruiter or whoever, someone that's doing that as a professional, as their professional job. You work with them to make sure that you have a highly qualified resume that's going to stand out and get you that first interview. The next most important thing I would say is to build those relationships. What that looks like in action and practice is going to networking events where, companies and executives at different companies and recruiters are hanging out. It means building your network on LinkedIn, posting relevant content, connecting with the recruiters, the hiring managers, and the top executives at the companies that you're interested in. And not just connecting with them, but reaching out to them and, asking for their advice, their insight. What I've come to learn that works really well is if you see someone that you really want to make a network and connection with, just ask them, let them know that you want to, learn more about what they do day to day, and just ask them for 9 minutes of their time. Say that something like, hey, would you be willing to give me 9 minutes of your time just so I can learn about what you do as a, director of talent acquisition? People are very likely to respond to that 9 minute. And if they see that you're someone sincerely trying to learn more about their day-to-day and the career and the field and the job, most people are willing to help, in my experience. So those are the two pieces of advice that I would give.
Man, that's some great advice. Besides not having a professional looking at a resume or your resume, what are some common mistakes that job seekers do make on their current resumes?
Most common mistakes I see are they include a lot of design elements in their resume. Your resume should be nothing more than just text, pure text. It does not need to include, fancy looking HTML, CSS, those kind of things. And the reason for that is because when you send that resume to a recruiter, they're typically going to take that resume and turn it from a Word document to a Google document. Or they might parse that resume into a software that might fill up, certain fields. So you don't want to have anything more than text. The second biggest thing I notice is the resume is too long. So if your work experience is anything less than 5 years, I would recommend that your resume should not be any longer than 1 page. If you have more than 5 years of experience, going all the way up to 20 plus years of experience, your resume still should not be anything more than 2 pages. If it's anything longer than that, it's just not going to get the attention that, you're looking for. When you send the resume in, just keep in mind that a recruiter or a hiring manager is going to spend no more than 10 to 30 seconds to look over your resume. They have hundreds of other resumes to look at for every position. The resume's job is just to get an interview. You're not looking to share your entire life story on a resume. You're just going to highlight all of the big, top, most important things about you enough to get someone's attention to give you a call. That's the purpose of the resume. Other than that, being concise yet very action-driven on your resume is a big one. So the main advice there is just to basically have a few bullet points about what you did, and the bullet points should read something like this. It should note what you did in that role, how you did it. In that section, you want to include different tools and methodologies you've used to accomplish that task. And then it should end with, what did you achieve? What was the result? How did this make more money for your company? Or how did you make the team more efficient? Or how did you cut costs? You always need to end with the result that your work did. Instead of just saying, I answered customer phone calls, you need to say something along the lines of, I answered customer phone calls by using Active Directory, which led to a, response time reduction of XYZ minutes, something along those lines.
Yeah. So, okay, not only having a concise resume, networking, what are some other tips that you could share about standing out in a competitive job market? If, everyone has an impeccable resume and everyone is networking, with the same communities and circles and, workplace cultures.
Again, the best recommendation there is relationship building and sharing interesting content. If you need to be active on your social media channels and also in the community as well. Some things that I would recommend are going to community events and asking to become perhaps a speaker If you know that your local Chamber of Commerce does regular meetings, see how you can become a part of it and maybe give a talk on, resume building tips, or how to market your business, or how to find good suppliers for a wholesaling business. Whatever your expertise might be, just becoming a content creator and a speaker instantly gives you that authority and credibility, and also expands your network. That's one thing that I would say. The second thing is relationship building. And what that looks like is reaching out to people and asking to, one of the best ways to do that, in my opinion, is just to asking to interview people. Kind of like what we're doing here. By interviewing someone, you're letting them talk about themselves, which people love to do that, let's just be honest. Mm-hmm. And you're also genuinely showing someone that you want to learn more about them. You're curious what they do, and people love to share what they do, especially people who are passionate about their job. So those are two easy things that you can do. Outside of that, you can get very creative with your marketing. You can really put yourself out there by doing creative marketing, things. You can put your flyer with your picture on there. You can have a very attractive and catchy looking business card that people don't want to throw away. Like, for example, my business card is a folded business card, and when you open it up, it's basically a laptop with a keyboard, and then it has like a picture that looks like a screen with my picture on there. So I made my business card like that on purpose because I didn't want people to just look at it and throw that in the trash. There's different things you can do to stand out, but the most basic and simple thing that you can do is just building genuine connections with people and asking to speak and share knowledge with a group of people that are wanting to learn more about your line of work.
Man, wow. Again, so Ralphie, I'm a professional introvert. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm more interested in hearing about some effective ways to network.
As an introvert, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you can start small. You don't have to put yourself in the middle of a giant room and say, hey, look at me. You can start very, very small. You can get that coffee with that one person. It's just you and that one person. If you're an introvert, you can technically stay behind the screen. You can do virtual coffee and virtual interviews. You can even do podcast interviews and calls, just like we're doing, where we're not even on camera, right? You can start there. You can have another great way to, build your network and put yourself out there is to have a 2-hour cocktail party where all you do is basically reach out to a few people that you want to get to know better, and just say, hey, come over to my house. I'm having a cocktail party. I'd love to have you there. And just have a small party with 10 to 15 people maximum. That way, you're not under pressure to really produce something amazing. At the same time, the setting is going to be very intimate and personal because it's your own home. People are going to be much more comfortable connecting with you at a deeper level, and you won't feel like you're standing up to a group of 1,000 people and giving a speech where you might go wrong or something like that. So I would say start with a very small group of people just so you can get to know them better, and that way you can build a deeper connection with them as well.
Nice. Taking notes, Ralphie. All right. So when negotiating compensation, that's another important topic. What are some things to keep in mind, and how can job seekers make sure they're getting the best deal?
You don't ever want to name your compensation expectations. That's my best piece of advice there. No matter what it is, always you need to think of a way to try to flip it back on the company or the recruiter. So, for example, a recruiter will ask, so what are your compensation expectations? Your response could be something like, that's a great question. To be completely honest with you, compensation is not the most important aspect of what I'm looking for in my next job. I'm actually much more interested in finding a really good fit at a really great company that I want to be part of long term. With that being said, I'm just curious, out of curiosity, what does the compensation range look like for this position, if you don't mind sharing that? Just know that compensation is not going to be something that's going to stop me from taking the job. If it's a great fit, I'm very flexible on there, but I'm just curious about the range. So I always recommend just to flip it back on them and don't name your compensation. The reason is this. Once you tell them that range, then later when the offer comes to you, that recruiter or that hiring manager is going to hold you to that and say, hey, you told me you wanted 110 to 120,000. we're giving you an offer for 120. What are you complaining about? You don't have that much negotiating room once you already name your price. But if you can get them to name theirs first, you have all the power in the world, because now they have anchored you, right? They set the anchor now, which means it could be a scenario where they're willing to offer a lot more than what you thought. It could be a scenario where, you now know what they're offering, first of all. So what you would want to do then is wait till you get the actual offer at hand and then start the negotiation process. Once you get a formal offer from them, whether in writing or verbally, then you know they have selected you as their top choice for that position, right? Yeah. Then you start the negotiation process. That's when you start naming your price. So if they come to you with the 110, you could say, well, hey, listen, these are the value that I bring to the table. I think what would be fair for given my talent and my abilities would be 130. You keep going back and forth with the company until they tell you that this is our best and final offer. Once the company says that's our best and final offer, meaning that's the best that they can do, that's when you stop the negotiation, and then you can accept that, that position or choose to decline it, depending on what it is. But I'd say definitely wait till you get the offer at hand before starting the negotiation.
Man, so negotiating, that's the sweet side to me. But what about the rocky side? What are some red flags that job seekers should look out for during the interview process?
Well, if you apply for a job and they say, hey, come join a Zoom call at 6 p.m. with a bunch of other people so you can learn more about our company. If you hear things like that, I would say stay away. Typically, those are going to be things that are either scams outright or some sort of multi-level marketing or something you probably don't want to be part of. Let's just be honest. During the interview, if you see there are other candidates interviewing with you at the same time, I would be very cautious. Why are there multiple people interviewing at the same time? You should be the only person. And if anything, there should be either a one-on-one interview or a panel interview where there are multiple people involved. I would not spend any time filling out, lengthy applications or watching any videos or even recording a video of myself saying something, anything, etc., until I actually speak with the recruiter on the phone. A good company, with the exception of just a few that I know of, Amazon being one of those few, will typically almost always have a recruiter that will give you a call and give you a phone conversation to start the process. So if you're not getting that phone conversation, if you're having to spend a lot of time filling out applications and things like that, I'd probably stay away from those kind of companies and those jobs as well.
Yes, sir. All right, final question for you, Rafi. What are some qualities that you look for in candidates when hiring for a new position?
So let's speak of some soft skills that I look for. Definitely being on time, great communication, emailing me back confirming. When I ask for availability, giving me a different slots for availability, giving me a PDF copy of their resume, and that resume being professional, being professionally dressed. It matters, You shouldn't really be wearing a T-shirt to an interview. You should be dressed at least business casually, in my opinion. So a collared shirt or a button-down. Being structured with your responses during an interview. Instead of just continuing on and on and on and on, just having a very structured response that answers the question succinctly while addressing the different points that the questioner is looking for. Having interpersonal skills like building rapport. When you first go into the interview, just doing some research on the company, on the interviewer, on the team, on the product area where the job is going to be, reading the job description multiple times, even simple things. I've had so many candidates that did not know the title of the job they were interviewing for. You'd be surprised at how people miss the basic and simple things. They may not know the product area, or the department that they're interviewing at. So just doing some due diligence is key. You can't expect to be scheduled for an interview and log in 30 seconds before the interview without doing any of the homework and expect to have a good interview. You need to spend time to look around, do some research, do some Google searches, YouTube searches, to learn more about the company and the position and be prepared for the interview.
All right, man, those are good tips, good tips. All right, Ralphie, if people want to get in contact with you and maybe even work on their resume or get some more advice, where can they connect with you online?
For sure. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can just type in Rafi Chowdhury, and I'm located in Memphis, Tennessee. It should not be too difficult to find me. My personal email, I'll give the audience my Gmail address. It's Rafi, R-A-F-I 1220 @gmail.com. You can also reach me at rafichowdhury.com, and that's spelled RAFICHOWDHURY. And most importantly, I'm always a phone call away. So my personal cell number is 901-674-4629. And I will always make time for people that truly want my help and need it.
All right, all right. Listeners, just in case you need those links, I will include them in the show notes and in the description of this episode. So all you guys have to do is just click the links and connect. Well, Ralphie, we want to thank you so much for being our special guest tonight. It was truly an honor having you here.
Demetrius, thank you so much. It was an honor for me as well to be part of your show and be here.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Have a great night.
You as well. Take care. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Thank you, my Vigilantes family, as always, for checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio Live. All episodes are available for free download, and you can grab it from either Spreaker.com/Only1Media Group, Spotify, Castbox, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, the app Podcast Addict, or over at our website, which again is only1mediagroup.com, and that goes for every single show that we've ever aired. If you like to request some music or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@only1mediagroup.com. That is V as in Victor. And here's my disclaimer: we are genre free, we do not judge, and we absolutely do not base our opinions on hearsay but facts alone. And actually, scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right. That's the bottom line. This is my show, so deal with it. Just kidding. On behalf of myself, Denny, I appreciate all you guys for tuning in, either afterwards or live with us. Spread the word, because sharing is caring. We stepped up our game just for you guys and our guests to make sure that you have the best experience here on our show. Be sure to connect with me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Snapchat, TikTok, at all social media sites, as well as Spreaker, YouTube. We always follow back. Okay, well, just remember to put yourself into everything that you do and never stop investing in yourself. Peace, love, grilled cheese, and talk with you later.
You are now listening to Vigilantes Radio, the people's choice for quality interviews, art, music, and hot topics. Hosted by Demetrius Houdini Black Reynolds of the duo No Longer the Hero. All episodes of this podcast are available for free download at www.onlyonemediagroup.com. This is a Seventh Sign Regime Rebirth Worldwide Syndicate exclusive.